So this is a video reflection on myself, the writer, and I chose the what topics, themes, or essential questions most inspired me as a writer. Um, One of the topics that we discussed about in this quarter that I got in touch with was relationships, those that hurt us, those that help us, which also can go into like domestic violence and all that. So I selected that because um, throughout my childhood times I was exposed to domestic violence too, and I seen it not just from myself but like from my friends and all these stories. So I was always surrounded by violence, and that's something that I was able to connect with right away, and it inspired me to write about domestic violence because I had so much to write about. And in a way, when we were reading The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, the part where Zachariah goes through a bunch of violence and all that. I don't want to say I went through the same thing too, but there were some parts where I've encountered similarities, and I understood that, and it's pretty tough actually, but it's something that I can connect to, and something that I know what he's talking about, or what Skloot was talking about, and it inspired me to write about it because I just connected it with it, and um, it let me understand on his behalf on like what he was going through, and why he acted up so aggressive. The psychological effects of him being always like constantly aggressive towards others. Like it's just part of his mindset to be aggressive because of Ethel and all that. And I look at it throughout my community and where I used to live, and probably still to this very day on other communities. There's always going to be violence, and you know, even around the world, there's continuous violence. Like it's a nonstop. Even if I'm not connected to a different country or a different person, there's always violence, one way or another. It's in different cultures, it's been shown everywhere. It can be extreme violence or it can be just simple verbal violence, but it's still around, and it's always been around since the beginning of time. So that's why I selected that topic, because it's a strong topic to talk about, and it's also very common, and I can get a lot out of it, and I have my own experience. um this topic, um it impacts my identity, and it makes me want to go more into school because my major is sociology, and what I want to do with my major is going to like social agencies where I can help people, and I feel like I will encounter situations where domestic violence is going to be around, or it's going to be presented in my major, and I'm ready for it because I have so much to talk about. I have experience to talk about, and I'm very interested about it. I've known that children experience domestic violence, you know, firsthand. Either they get hit, or they just see it, and just things like that really changes a life, you know. And I want to be able to take this major and this topic pretty much into consideration in the future, because I know it's gonna come, and because of that, it's gonna affect my identity. It's gonna test me. Like, okay, well, I'm here at the point where I'm I'm at my job or whatever at some sort of agency, and this topic comes up. Well, I'm gonna be well informed, and I'm gonna know a lot more about it because of my experience and what I've learned in class, and all the things that we've broken down in class too. And so, going on to transferring or whatever, right? I looked ahead of time, and I've noticed that my school that I want to go to has this sociology, and how it talks about domestic violence. I took my time studying about sociology, so it will come up, and I'm pretty excited about it. Um, but for the most part, that's that topic is it's really strong with me. I can really tie in. I can do so much with it. So, you know, I'm really excited to go into it and see where it can help people, especially children and women who mostly experience it, especially at a low income community, or you can say, society. It's very normal to see a lot through there, and I want to do something about it because I lived it, I learned off of it, I experienced it, and I'd like to give some sort of help so that children who are exposed to it can also get out of it and have a better life. So there you go.